I didn't remember to record it, but it's all fine. We'll start the recording now. Like there's one Igbo proverb that says that Igbo is one language in Nigeria that says that it's whenever you wake up that is your morning. So, and like I think there's a popular quote as well too that says that as the recording started, let me confirm that now. Yep, it's recording. Okay, there is a popular quote as well too that says that it is the day that a man discovers why he's born that he truly starts living. That he truly starts living when you discover why you're born, why you understand your identity and get this whole full clear picture and understand your own role to play in it. We are all part of that team, and our goal as a team is to win. But are you the striker? Are you the defender? We need to get clarity on what we're supposed to be doing. So this leads us to a story that I love so much. This leads us to a story that I love so much. I'm just gonna play a short game. I don't know if I can even call it a game. So this story I want to tell, I have different pictures that narrates the story from the end, from the beginning to the end. I can probably try to tell it in 5 or 10 minutes. So I'll just run through the pictures and expect some of us to probably know if you know what the story is about. So picture 1, picture 2, picture 3, picture 4, picture 5, picture 6, picture 7, picture 8. Okay, that's it. Does anybody know what story that is? Anyone? Silence means no, I take. All right, so this is a very popular story. And this is the story of the lady at the well and the man standing by her that is having this conversation with this woman. Oh, hey, I need some water. Can you fetch me some water from this well? I was like, oh, no. You are from an absolute different country. And you know that these two countries has placed a ban. We don't do business with each other. We want to get, we can do business with each other. So you shouldn't even be beside me at all. We shouldn't be having this conversation right here. But then he was able to tell her and say, hey, if you don't fetch for me, if you don't offer this product that you have to me right now anyway, but I have something that I can give you. That if I give you, I'm asking you for water that you can't give, but if I give you this water that I have, you will not thirst again. If I give you this water that I have, you will not thirst again. I was like, wow, I mean, this is fantastic. Like, I want this. For instance, imagine maybe back in the day when you have, this shaving stick, many, I don't know if there are still any of them, if people still use them today, but of course, I believe people still use them. The whole shaving razor. There are some of them that are disposable, that you just buy. Once you finish using, you throw it away, you buy a new one, and you throw it away and things like that. So, but there are some, imagine selling something like that and someone says, hey, I want one. It's like, no, I can't sell to you because there is a ban between our countries and I can't do business with you. And this person is responding and say, okay, well, I have a particular shaver that if you have this, you don't need to keep buying shaver every now and then. You can just use it, clean it, and continue using it. I was like, and she's like, wow, that's going to save me a lot of money. Please, I need yours. Remember, this is somebody who's already saying I can't give you mine, but they hear what you have to offer is so good, they are ready to do business with you straight up. And they said something that if I give you this water, you will not thirst again. But I said that, but you will have, that it will be a river springing into you unto eternal life. And then he went ahead to say something to like diagnose the woman's business problem or personal problem. Like, this must be a very super smart consultant to just meet me, have a conversation. Some people meet you for the first time, they're having a conversation with you, and immediately they can tell you, hey, I think you actually have do you have something troubling you in the home front? They can pick it up. Some people just have a conversation with you and they know you're smart straight up. And they can tell you things about your life. I think this, I think that, and things like that. But this one goes to another level. It was not just, the accuracy was just too sharp for you to say to somebody and say, hey, woman, I know you've had 5 husbands. And even the one you have right now is not even your husband. He's some form of, maybe some form of fake boyfriend. You already know that he's not serious, but you're just managing him. You're just keeping him because you know that this current CEO you have in your company is not the right one. You've had 5 different CEOs, and this current one, you already know you're just still looking for how to replace. So you know that you've not been able to solve your problem of getting the right CEO. you've not been able to solve this your problem of getting the right partner in your business. I was like, wow, that's just too clear. Now you know what the problem is. I was like, hey, are you a prophet? Like, are you a prophet? That's what that picture is talking about there. Like the prophet gives direction, and then there's a subtle cross somewhere that points people to the right direction. Are you a prophet? But something that is very interesting happened in that place. When he says, "Are you a prophet?" It was quiet. He was silent. You could literally hear the pin drop. He didn't say anything when he was asked, "Are you a prophet?" And I was like, why didn't he respond to this woman's question? When she didn't respond, the woman carried ahead the conversation. And she said, "Oh, we know that a Messiah is coming and he's going to save us from all the troubles that we're having. We know that there is this super smart person that we've been hearing about, that when he comes, whatever the problems in our businesses, he will be able to give us clarity and tell us the solution. We won't have to keep hiring and firing CEOs continuously." I know in my life. At that point, she got it right, and then he's able to say, "Oh, yes." So what did we take? He was able to respond to say, "Yes, you got it now." So what did we take from this story? Is that story literally gives us a journey. That story gives us a journey, gives us a way to describe or explain who we are, even though it was happening as a conversation. And before I look at this bit, I'm going to say something that even in that story, by the time that woman met the real person that Jesus is as the Messiah, our own purpose, our own assignment was triggered. So that encounter of meeting the real person sets her in the right motion. You know, that woman has enough reasons why she shouldn't have done what she did afterwards. Number one, she's woman. Woman doesn't do a lot of conversation, public conversation to say back in the day and at that time. Number two, she's had five different husbands. Even the right one is a fake one. So she's probably not a very excited person in the community. She's probably not a very respected person in the community. There would have been some kind of perspective and perception about her life that is probably not very positive. But at that point that she discovers this depth of truth, at that point that she has this level of revelation, any of those things did not matter to her again. Anything that should make her sit still did not matter to her again. She was triggered and she went across, "Hey, I've met this man, blah, blah, blah." And long story short, that woman's encounter made her trigger the fulfillment of what our own calling really is. And that brought the entire city to the kingdom of God. So what I just want to bring from there is the fact that each time people have an encounter with you, your life, the encounter you have with them should sow a seed that advances them towards fulfillment. And someone is like, "Hey, Darry, hold on. I've not even discovered who am I. How am I going to help people discover who they really are?" You know, one of the response someone gave earlier is that the essence of life is to love. And I love that statement, to love, so much, because it summarizes a lot of things. A lot of things. When Jesus was asked, "Please, can you give us a summary of the 10 Commandments?" It's like, well, it's just love God, love your neighbor. Love is so essential. When he's talking about the fruit of spirit, he said the fruit of the spirit is love. He did not say the fruit of the spirit are, then mentioning 19. Is love, then mention 8 other things. If you look at those 8 other things, they are pretty much characteristics of love itself. So love is so important. And I've said all that about love to say something now. When we look at it, at our daily life in all that we do is to show love to people. The utmost love that you show to people is to advance them to become to the fullness of their potential. And you don't need to be a coach, a teacher, a trainer, a pastor, an evangelist, a prophet, or something to do that to people. Like, you need to see that everything you do in your own space, it's creating positive enforcement to others, to advancing others. And you cannot say you've actually advanced people if you are not advancing them in the right direction. Of course, it's not your problem or trouble to help everybody in this world discover who they really are. But from your own perception, from your own understanding, as you feel led, as you feel inspired to do, you know that you are thinking that what I'm doing to this person, what I'm doing for this person, is it advancing this person forward? That should be a guiding thought to a lot of things that we do, even in our place of work. So this conversation I've done with this person, does it help in any way? "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't really help you review this document, but I think you can check with this other person." You couldn't help literally, but you've helped. and okay, if I see anything that could help later on, I'll send it to you. You made a commitment. If you see, you do it. If you don't see, you don't do it. That doesn't mean that, you see, that doesn't now mean that everybody in life is, you are going to have to meet everybody and do something for everybody. Of course not. It is the ones that you're able to encounter, because you can't be for everybody. Even when Jesus was on earth, as a matter of fact, even though he came for everybody, he did not literally or physically engage with everybody one-on-one. So the ones that you can engage with, it should be a driving thought. At the end of your day, how have I advanced someone today? How have I helped? How have I shown love that helps someone push them forward in the fulfillment of their purpose? And when I know that the person is chasing the wrong purpose, I won't be pushing the person in the wrong direction. Because if someone comes to me and says, Dari, you know what? I'm actually planning this scam deal. It's going to be a big one. We're going to make a lot of money. I'm not going to sit down there and begin to give the person an idea on how he's going to go destroy others. Definitely not. I'll say, no, Dari, you're the one that said that you should help everybody towards fulfilling their purpose. So that cannot be his purpose. His purpose cannot be to hurt or harm others. So back to this, which is a summary of that story. In that conversation that happened there, he said, I will give something. So what are you giving? Everybody has something that they can give. And then the next point there is whoever, he calls out the action point to it. That whoever receives this water will not, then he talks about the problem that is being solved, the pain that is being solved, but have what exactly is your value offering? Something that we mix up a lot of time is that many of us misinterpret our products or our service as our value offering. And your value offering gets more clarity when you know your target audience, which is whoever. For Jesus is everybody is sent to. Of course, we are sent to the entire world, but every one of us have a segment or a sector or a section of that entire world that we can best serve. So once you get that clarity, it gets you what value you're offering. For instance, there might be so many cleaning business out there, but when you start your own cleaning business, you know that maybe your target audience is for maybe nursing mothers. So that what? They can have more quality time with your children. That's your value offering. And where the difference is that when you get clarity with your value offering, it's easier for you to even create more relatable products from there. It can be a cleaning business that is helping them to get more quality time with their children and their family. Then eventually you realize, oh, I can actually add a shop for you as part of my services. Oh, I can actually add XYZ as part of your services. I could even add parenting class to part of my services, for instance. But you know that what guides you ultimately is that value that you are offering ultimately. And that is what truly and really defines who you are. So, and then the next part there that is very, very interesting is that the woman misinterpreted him, or not necessarily misinterpreted. The woman saw a part of him, which is not all of him, saw a part of him, which is, he said, are you a prophet? But he kept quiet because that's a part of me that is not fully me. I'm not just going to say yes to that. But if you're able to come to the realization of who you are really, oh, you are the Messiah we've been expecting. And then that response came, yes. So what this framework is pretty much giving us that insight is that you know what you give, you know who you are sent to give that to, you know what problem or pain point you're solving, and you know what value you are actually offering. And then the other part of it is telling us that you shouldn't accept the wrong labels, and you should be clear. If they don't get the clarity, you find a way to tell them. So to say. So now, I love this. This is a word art I just created with a number of the words that describe who I am. And there are so many things that describe you. Imagine me trying to go through every word in this word art. I put, some of you might like it, that's why I put the link where I was able to create wordart.com/create. So imagine me trying to go through every word on this now, trying to tell you, I do this, I do that, I do this. You probably wouldn't even remember anyone at the end of the conversation today. But in everything that I do, as far as I'm concerned, everything ties back to one thing for me, being a teacher. And okay, let me, all right, being a teacher. And now there was a slide I wanted to use, but it's far towards the end. We'll talk about it as we go on. Is that you need to understand that your calling is bigger than your career. And your calling is not just a matter of, oh yeah, it's a Christian thing, it's this. Let's not over Christianize or over religious attachment to what we are meant to do in life. And at the same time, let's not narrowly define it as well too. So your calling can, even if I say that my ultimate aim for me is to be a teacher, I could as well say, okay, if being a teacher is the most essential thing to me, perhaps I should be working in a school. But then it's more than that, because it's not, like I said, the calling is greater than the career. And you need to understand that you can be doing something different. Where I work in IT project management, and I do some design consulting. But in all those things, teaching is very essential to me. One of my approach, even when I'm doing a consulting engagement, is the clients, you are learning the process. I'm teaching that process, even in the process of solving that solution. So in everything I do, in every engagement I do, I'm seeking to teach. And to be a good teacher, you also need to listen and learn a lot. So as a matter of fact, when it comes to listening, that one, my wife has been my listening coach to make sure I listen better and listen well. And I think I'm doing a better job as the day go by. So, and there's so many things. Of course, I'm a husband, I'm a father. These are all parts of me. Help people to grow, and a lot of other things like that. But our time is almost out, so I'm going to run. So now the ReDream program is going to address a lot of all these things in different ways. So the idea of looking at that slide is that there's so much part of you, but there's a way you can boil down everything to something. And if you ask me who am I now, I'm not just going to say I'm a teacher. That's not a clear definition. That is not a complete response, so to say. So yeah, so the session, the ReDream, I'll talk quickly about the ReDream program now as I move on, is that this program starts in February. We start by the third Sunday in February. So the plan is to have 2 sessions each month. It runs for 3 months. That's 6 sessions in all. And these are the 6 major things to be looking at. And these are 6 different aspects that defines who your life is. Some of the things I've talked about today picked a lot from the first point, which is image confluence, and a little bit from the other dimension as well too. But the idea is those sessions will be 2 hours deep dive session on each of those stuff, 6 different sessions. And of course, there would also be the place where we have like a one-on-one conversation for those who are excited to have that as well. Because beyond when we have a class, we teach people and things like that, there are some part of it that we need to bring a bit more personal and have conversation one-on-one. So there would also be like 1 or 2 contacts with each person in a month as well too in the course of the program. I don't have enough time now to be able to explain what each and all of this really means. But the whole goal of this session is to pretty much take you from getting the clarity of who you are, journey you through the points of, hey, what are the things that are holding you back and how do you break free from them? And understanding exactly what your full picture of the journey is, and understand how to get clear milestones about your life, which would say, oh, that you have certain goals, but setting impact milestones is beyond just I'm setting this goal and all. I will be deep dive into that. And secular effect is talking about how you advance in what you're supposed to be and how it creates a better environment and how the better environment helps you to advance in what you're supposed to fulfill. And that secular effect continues like that. That's just me trying to oversimplify what that session is really about. And then the Archer's Parable, the last session is really trying to help us to build a system of launching. There is something I was working with in my around building that system that is pretty much a DCBA. We'll be talking about that in that class in more detail as well. So let's now we don't have enough time. I thought we would have enough time to be able to pick each and every one of those words that we saw earlier. So so we'll talk more clearly how to get clarity on what your product or service is, and how to understand your target audience. So for you, you don't just need to say whoever does this, whosoever follows, or whosoever subscribes, or whosoever buys my book or something like that. But it's not just whoever, you need to be able to clarify who the target audience is. And for some people, it's so easy. Their target audience is as easy as boys all across the world, or boys from developing nations, or mothers, and for some other people, it's more than that. They send to business people. That doesn't mean that you don't help regular people, but the most of your energy is channeled to this category of people. And some people are focused on, say, to teachers, for instance. So getting that clarity of the kind of people that you are sent to. And sometimes it's just maybe sent to people who are inquisitive, for instance, or sent to people who, however you can describe that. But it's a whole session to go through a lot of all those things and get clarity how to get those definitions very well. And then what is solved will not be in the pain point or the problem that you're really solving. And this being the value that you're offering. You need to be able to get the difference between the problem you are solving, the solution you are giving, and the value you are offering. Those 3 things, sometimes some people lump it together and they can't really separate them. But they are really different, because when you understand your problem, sometimes you think the solution you have is the solution, but as you go on in life, you realize that, yeah, this problem I'm clear of, the people I'm clear about, but I can evolve my product. I can add more products, add more service, but I still get defined a lot by my value of it. And then not as a, you need to understand that your purpose is not just about as your career or your profession or the title you put on LinkedIn. It's much more beyond that. You have to understand that it's as a calling that you're sent to fulfill. So we should have gone through this, but no time for that. And this point is, like I said, your calling is more than your career. So, and your purpose is bigger than your passion. Sometimes a lot of people say, oh, just find what you're passionate about and just chase it and all that. Sometimes what your purpose really is, you might not be passionate about it from the start. It might evolve over time. And sometimes what you are most passionate about might, so I have a, so what you are most passionate about. So let me talk about calling and career quickly, is that your calling is bigger than your career. However, like I said, however, your career might be a part of your calling. So like I said, probably you're a teacher and you teach in a school or something, it's part of it, but your teaching does not end in the school, for instance. So it's just a part of it. And sometimes your career is only a platform to fulfill the calling itself. For instance, one of my mentors back when I was in university, he was a staff of the university, but for him, being a staff in the university was a platform to be able to reach the lives, was a platform to be able to reach the lives that are that he meets in that university environment. So that career has been a platform. So some other people will say, no, this is not what I'm sent to. I'm sent to be teaching and preaching and all that. So I don't want to pick a job in the university. I'm just going to jump to something else and all that. But that career could be a platform. So sometimes it doesn't have to be, oh, yeah, do you really love it? Life is not all about emotion, because love itself, that should define a lot of things we do, is not just an emotion, it's a decision. Whether it's easy or not easy, and we decide it's not. So, and your career sometimes mainly might be a provision for the fulfillment of your calling. Like I said something one time, and I love to say that a lot, is that in life, everybody, there are two main things, and is that this statement is messing up in my head now, is that there are things you do to fulfill your call, and there are things you do to make money. You don't do one of this. If you can, you do both of them. Like I said, if you can. In some cases, your calling is so self-absorbing, you can't really pick any other thing again. But if you can, you do both of them. Because doing this, I know this job is just to be an income stream, for instance, and that income stream is be able to help you to be able to, keep your family, keep a roof over your head so that you can fulfill what that call is supposed to be. Because the two extremes about life is that when it comes to fulfilling your call and money and all those things like that, is that some people think that once it's your call, you must make money from it. It's an extreme. It's not right. It's not a must. And some other people think because it's your call, you must not make money from it. That's also another extreme. That's also not absolutely right. There are different strokes for different folks. Different things work for different people. So you don't overgeneralize. There are some times that your call can make you enough money and you just focus on it. There are sometimes it cannot make you, sometimes it will never even make you enough money. Imagine someone who starts a foundation who is distributing, helping people set low cost electricity across the world or something. It might never make him enough money, but he might have other things he's doing to make to make money from it, And sometimes over time, to make enough money, you can leave this and all that. So I talked a bit more about this because sometimes some people have this thing of, oh, you see my job, it's just what I just do. This is the main thing of me. You should also respect it as well too, because it's either forming a part of your call, it's giving a platform for your call, or it's bringing provision for your call. Because you can be working in an absolutely, you can be a manager in a particular company, and let's say you have a call to heal marriages and things like that. And one way or the other, you keep finding out that when you meet your colleagues or when you meet your friends or partners or business people or customers, one way or the other, that conversation, they end up trusting you to tell you about their marital problems and you end up helping them. So that's a platform. You don't just say that, and that does not mean that you should not do what is expected of you there, because that would not be diligent and that would not be fair. That would be cheating, because it's like you're stealing the money and you're not offering any value in return. And like I said, that your purpose is bigger than your passion. Sometimes your passion is just where you go to get refreshed. You might love watching movies a lot. Does not mean you're going to be an actor or you're going to be a movie director or something like that. You might realize that you even get tools and resources from the movies you watch. You love it. I love watching movies a lot. And when I watch movies, I'm able to get direct, what's it called now? I'm able to get reference to those things sometimes to make examples, for instance. And So these are some of those things. I mean, one of my favorite movies really that really talks about people believing in something and going for it all the way is Erin Brockovich on Netflix. This woman who just joined a law firm and did a lot of stuff there who was not even a lawyer. So that does not mean I'm going to go into movie, for instance. But one way or the other, it's helping what I'm doing. So these are things that we also need to get clarity on. We should understand that there are some things that it might be a passion, but it's only just going to help you to fulfill the real thing. It does not mean you must focus fully on that passion itself. And like I said this at the beginning, by the time you get the clarity of who you are, who your life mission is, every dream that you have should fit into that. You must be able to see that all your dream to achieve $10 billion, why? What is the essence of it? What's going to happen after getting $10 billion? Yeah, because I need to be able to do X, Y, Z. Because I need to be able to do Y, Z, X, or something like that. The dream to travel the world. Why? So I don't necessarily. I just want to travel the world and just see the world. After you've seen the world, how do you use all those experiences? Oh, I want to eventually become a travel blogger as a leisure. I don't want to make it a business. I want it to just be a leisure for me because there's a way it refreshes me. And in the place of writing about my travel experience, I even get some ideas for my business. You see how everything connects together now. So that's making sure our life is not just a mixed mash of different things. There should be coherence and cohesiveness on how all these things fit together. And that's why, that generally speaking, I would have just said, oh, these are some examples of personal mission statements of life. But not a lot of people will put their personal mission statement out there and say, oh, this is my mission. However, for many people that are founders of businesses, yeah, you can find that the mission statement of their business is an extension of what their own mission is. A very good example that I love is this guy called Evan Williams, Ev Williams. So he has this dream. He talks about it in thoughts that, oh yeah, you need to build a system that would pull all the mind of the world in one place. That'll bring all the brains and ideas together in one place. And that has really been a guiding lamppost for him that this is the person who founded Blogger that was eventually bought by Google. This was the person who co-founded Twitter. And this is the same person who has moved on to found Medium. Many of us are familiar with all three solutions. I mean, I'm sure I've used all three, and many of us do as well too. And in all these three things, if you go ahead and look at their mission statement, maybe not Blogger because that's been bought, so to say, Twitter, Medium, look at their mission statement. It comes back to what this guy keeps talking about, that he wants to put all the brains in the world in one place for easy access and exchange of ideas and things like that. Yeah, and you have Google who says their own is to organize the world's information and make it easily accessible. And if you see, even when Google is buying Blogger, it's fulfilling that ultimate mission for them. And even though they've created so many products today, many of the products can be tied back to that original mission, which is to do what? To organize which is to organize the world's information. And one of my favorite as well too is Nike, which is inspiring and helping athletes to be innovative and all that. But I'll talk in 30 seconds about one that I love so much, which is a company I've worked with while I was back in Nigeria. It's Emerging Platforms. Many, many years, going back to the mission statement of that company, because of course I know the founder a lot, is a close mentor. And even beyond Emerging Platforms and other companies that this founder has created, being color, it comes back to tell us who he is. Because when you look at the mission statement of Emerging Platforms, if you want to see it, I don't have enough time to if I open it, I would have to break it down. But you can check it out. Emerging Platforms, there's an S, emergingplatforms.com. Emerging, that means that something is emerging, platforms.com. And it's so clear because he's created other businesses and everything ties back to that. So you can see clearly that when he was creating that mission statement, it was an extension of who he is as an individual. So lest some of us go ahead from here and now say, oh no, so that means that if I'm working with another company, I'm only serving another person's mission. That is not entirely true, as some people say, that if you don't run your own business, that means you are fulfilling another person's dream or something like that. No, because we are not all islands. There are different aspects of each and every one of us that connect together. There are places where there are collaboration. That's why you have co-founders, isn't it? You've met people whose mandate and purpose is to achieve a particular thing, and yours is similar. You can work together. So that's why understanding what's the mission of this organization, and are they really chasing it? And does this in any way fit with what mine is as an individual as well, to make sure that I'm able to chase it? And if there's any way, how do you string this together? It's what the example we looked at earlier, understanding what you give. You can frame that into any statements, however you want the statements to be, but whatever needs to be reflected in it is what you give. You don't need to At the beginning, you can describe just one product or one service, or you can describe a generic product or service, so to say, like Google says to organize the world information. That's the service they're offering. So that can take form and shape of different, many products. So that's not very specific. So the product you're offering does not necessarily need to be about that. So for Google, it's about giving that organizing of information, and the value they are offering there is easy accessibility, which all comes together in the mission statement that they're working on, because they have built a platform that they believe everybody that accesses the internet needs to use theirs. So it's built for every internet user, so to say. But not everyone is going to build a solution that is for every entire person on planet Earth. You can have your own group that you are sent to. So in creating a mission statement, get clarity on what you are given, get clarity on who you are giving that to, what you give, who you are giving it to, get clarity on what problems or pain points you are solving, get clarity on what value you are offering. Like I said, the solution, the problem, the value are similar, but they are different, they connect. And then these are the essential parts of it. Then having done all that, you need to be careful not to just accept what others think of you, but accept what you believe is right. So that brings a wrap of this. Like I said, this is an introductory session. This is to pretty much open your interest on, if you now think, oh, Larry, I think there's more of this stuff that I would love to learn. Then, like I said, the session starts mid-February, third Sunday in February, runs for 3 months. We have 6 sessions across all. And those sessions are not just things, I'll be taking a good part of it, but I'll also be inviting people to come around in some of the sessions to also have a practical dimension. For instance, one of our sessions will really be talking about things about beliefs and mindset and things like that. And it's not just going to be a religious thing that we are flipping through scripture. We'll have someone coming on the session who is a practicing, what do they call them, a therapist and all that. So who's able to come in, because sometimes we begin to hear things and learn things and be like, oh, this is the issue and things like that and all that. So we'll learn all that. Yeah, it's not everything, like the scripture has already said, that it's watch and pray, lest you fall. It's not just the prayer, there's the place of watching. So we'll have experts and some other sessions like that as we find them applicable. Then we'll be having a lot of self-assessment. We'll have exercises that will be working together in the sessions. You'll be able to, at the end of this, get clarity on, okay, yeah, I get the big picture, and then I think this is something I can do today. There is always something you can do today in the advancement of what your big picture of life is. And also help as well to be able to launch an experiment. And like I said earlier, build a system to help you continue launching. So if you are this person who is like, I have all these things in my head, but I've not been able to achieve any of them and blah, 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 and things like that, would be taken through that journey from who you are to what you should be focused on, to your impact milestones, all the way to getting you to have a launch. And this shape here that actually has the whole circle thing is pretty much trying to let us understand that it's not a matter of you do this first, you do this next. They are all interwoven. The more you launch something, the more you get more clarity about yourself and get next picture and all that, because we get revelation about things in parts. Anyway, so at this point, I'm going to wrap it up. If there is any question, we can take 1 or 2 questions, because I've gone beyond the 45 minutes, I promise, but I try to keep it under 1 hour. So thank you very much, everybody, for listening, attending, and waiting till the very end. So if you have any questions, just 1 or 2 we can take. You can ask now. If there are no questions and you just think, okay, I think this is a personal conversation, Daria, and all that, you can take the, you can just take the what's it called again? The QR code on the screen. If you just take your phone or something and put your camera on the QR code to scan it and automatically get you to send a message to me about, hey, I would like to know more about this ReDream program. Let's talk about it. So it's not free, it's a paid program. So you can chat me up and talk about it if you're keen and interested. And either you use the QR code, and you can also type the URL that you see on the screen as well too on your phone, and it will automatically pop up your WhatsApp and get a message coming across automatically, and you will engage and get more details about it from there. Any questions? Okay, thank you. I guess everyone would rather just say, Dari, let's just have I would ask my questions directly to you, so that's equally fine. Take that and let's have the chat about it. So if you're wondering now, oh, Dari, you've talked about this question about who are you? Are you going to give us any example to go with? So I'll go back to that screen. And like I said, it's not as if there is a mechanical way to describe who you are. You can rephrase your statement in any direction, but you need to be able to address these things. So for me, for instance, what exactly do I give a lot of time? A lot of time, what I give in everything that I do is pretty much words of wisdom. There's a dimension from knowledge to understanding to wisdom, but it's something that I'm so passionate about in everything that I do, whether I'm speaking, I'm writing, or even just an ordinary conversation with people. I'm trying to, my words, I try to make sure that there's some insight in it and things like that. So then the next point there is, for me, whoever I'm mainly sent to business people. So not necessarily business owners, you can be an employee or an employer. So most of my conversation at times, that's why you see a lot of time I bring in example of businesses and all that. So my conversation cuts across your career, your business you're starting, and how everything connects together. So business focused people, so whoever engage with my content, most especially listen and learn, is what the call to action that I expect. And will not, I love this pain point I saw a lot, will not stagnate. For me, that's a real focus, will not stagnate, because I understand the place of sometimes we get the wrong information or things like that. As I teach, I also learn continuously myself. So that's something I'm always fighting against. I want people to be more and do more, not just necessarily for grade, but much necessarily for the need and the blessing they need to be. So we'll not stagnate is the pain points I'm really solving a lot of time, but have, in my case there, it's rephrased as but experience growth and happiness. Those two things are so key to me. Like I said, I mean, to solve stagnation is to experience growth, and not just growth, but growth that definitely comes with happiness. And that then begins to say, oh, does that make you a counselor? Does that make you a therapist, or whatever you want to say and all that? Many of those things are not. Or does that make you an agile trainer, for instance? Yeah, being an agile trainer is just part of who I am. Oh, someone said the screen stopped sharing. Okay, I don't know, but I believe I'm still sharing the screen. So we'll not have but have growth and happiness. So for me, as you grow, there's also that consciousness of saying that, does this growth actually optimize the happiness you experience in life? And not just happiness from the perspective of wrong philosophies, but from the right expectation of what your life should be. So for me, it's like, oh, so are you a teacher then? I'm like, yes, that's the word that when I left my last place of work, which was Shell, by the time I was leaving, the greatest gift I got leaving that place was that the person I was handing over to was able to send a message that says, Dare is a teacher. So when I get such feedback, it means, yes, I've done well in this place. I've fulfilled purpose in this place in under 2 years and all that. So yeah, so I've given an example of myself. What do I give? Words of wisdom. Who am I focused on? Business-minded people. If they listen and learn and launch, 3 of them. If you listen, learn, and launch, you will not stagnate, but have what do I call it again? But experience growth and happiness. And what does that make me from my own perspective is a teacher. Since there are no other questions, I've not gotten any question. Like somebody keep asking again, how do you reach me? I already provided that link at the last screen. I can paste the URL in the chat window now, so you can take it from there. Type in it, and after this, U600R2. So yeah, you click that link, it automatically pops up the message, and we can start a conversation from there. I'm interested. I want to go ahead. I would answer all of your questions personally. So thank you very much, everybody. I hope you've been able to get 1 or 2 things from today's session. What I would really appreciate, I don't have enough time to be taking feedback. I really want to respect your time. So please, even if you don't want to take the session and all you have for me is feedback from today's session, I would really, really appreciate it. Because like I said, as I teach, I have to make sure I'm learning, and let's make it conversational as well. So thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and God bless you.